Like I said, it happens, and hopefully some kids can learn from it, but just don't get caught.
I'm down to dunk.
And I'm down to dunk. I'm down to dunk. This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lindy Waters, and I'm down to dunk. I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Kenneth Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
We say this is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Cracklin Oat Bran?
Have you had Cracklin Oat Bran?
No,
No. Okay.
but it's healthy.
Are you a big oat brand guy?
I'm a big Oat Bran guy.
Okay.
I think I would switch it with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, eat faster. Don't put as much in the bowl.
You have a gallon of milk I can also take home.
You don't have milk at home?
One cinnamon toast.
Okay.
Crunch. Yeah. Cereal is great. Yeah.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Mondays is my good friend, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
Well, is it tonight? Game 7? Game 6? Games, whatever. The last game, probably, possibly. 5. Okay.
Yeah. It's tonight.
This is a great introduction of the podcast. Me just going completely wild on a final that I actually watched game by game. So that's great.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Hey, and if you are interested and you're watching the finals and you're looking for a recap podcast, we're going to do the Daily Ding live tonight. I believe it's Mark Schindler and Mo Dakhil and I breaking down Game 5. So join us live on the Athletic NBA Show feed. Would appreciate that very much. Before we start, the idea of today's podcast is to run through as many draft prospects as possible. And we're going to tell you, are we in or out on these prospects? And we can be very in or very out as well, just to let you guys know where we're at. So it's like a 4 grade scale there with players. So
Can I completely hijack the podcast immediately?
Why?
Because this morning and also yesterday, I was watching a little bit of our boy Buffkin. And
boys,
yes, Buffkin boys. And I was looking at the efficiency at the rim, which is insane. I said, okay, let's see in the NBA how many guys are actually elite at finishing at the rim. And so I was fooling around with Synergy. And do you know? Just guess how many players in the league last year had more than 400 possessions at the rim.
More than 400 possessions at the rim. I don't know, 12. I don't know.
Oh, that's 35.
Okay.
So that's a good chunk.
Yeah.
How many players of OKC are in that list?
Of 35?
Mm-hmm.
4?
3.
3.
Yeah. With Lou Dort being just a bit below 400.
Wow.
And I was looking at efficiency.
Or Shea and who's the third?
Go ahead.
Giddy? Who's the third?
Yeah, Giddy, J-Dub, and Shea.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's the more efficient?
J-Dub.
J-Dub. Where does he rank?
He's like at the tip top, right?
He's 18th. Together with, in the same ballpark as Jaylen Brown, Pascal Siakam, Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, and above him, like
is
big.
Right?
Only bigs.
Yeah.
Besides Luka Doncic, and it depends how you qualify LeBron James, and a clear outlier in Kenyon Martin Jr., who is still playing like a big. And I mean, to me, that is extremely interesting because finishing at the rim and being extremely efficient at the rim is something that OKC predicates a lot in what they do offensively, and have 3 players in this category. And even Giddy is not inefficient. He's shooting 57% of the rim. So it's not great, clearly, but it's very efficient offense if you just look at it from a broad perspective. Like if I generate 57%, sorry, on my 2-point shots, that is awesome efficiency. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. I had to, I think it's relevant to discuss when we think about draft prospects, because even for shooters, I remember us discussing about Trae Young and about other shooters in the past and comparing them to Steph Curry. I said, oh, wow, he has Steph numbers on 3-pointers, like Jordan Hawkins has similar numbers. But the thing that differentiated Steph from most shooters was that he was extremely efficient at the rim in college, and that translates to a T in the league. So I think that we should keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's a really good point. Buffkin boys, stand up. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
the dude is so good. 70% at the rim is crazy. It's crazy talk for a guard. I did want to shout out, the Thunder made a movie for a film festival in Oklahoma City, and it's called Steps, and it's about a college athlete named Derek Lockett, who I've met and is an amazing, amazing guy. The film is great. It's on YouTube. You can find it on my Twitter page. I sent a tweet about it earlier today. And it's 15 minutes long. It's worth your 15 minutes of your day if you got a little pocket here or there. You can watch it with your family. You can watch it with your kids. It's really cool. It's very inspiring. So I won't say too much about it because I don't want to give too much away. But it's an extremely inspiring story that's not really Thunder centric, but it's like Oklahoma centric. So please go check it out. Very, very cool story. Also, there's been the news that Presti's scouting Koulibaly and is probably at the game right now that is being played. Mets 92 that game's underway, and I'm sure Sam is at that game right now. Scouting Koulibaly, also just drooling over Wembanyama as well, as anybody would do. And before we start, just to say that this is like the kind of GM and president of basketball ops that Sam is. I mean, he's been this way since he was with San Antonio, that he just would always put in the extra effort in scouting. And that involved traveling and being in a lot of gyms and being in person to watch whole games of particular players. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's who they're going to draft or like that's who they're after. It's just a unique situation where they're still playing here in June. And if he can be there to get one more look in person, to see as many possessions as possible, and I'm sure talk to people around them to see what he can learn, like that's a part of this. And so this has been like in Sam's DNA since San Antonio. And so I would just caution people not to like take too much from it, except for the fact that like the GM of the Thunder is somebody who's got boots on the ground all the time and somebody who's traveling all the time and is in as many gyms as possible. So I just wouldn't take a whole lot away from it other than just like, this is how Sam works. Like, this is just the way that he does his job, is that if he can get somewhere to watch a first round talent, like he'll get there. And maybe that they really like him, but they like him as the 20th best prospect in the draft or whatever. I don't know. I really have no clue. This is all just like conjecture on my part, but it doesn't mean that they may not try to acquire him later on because they have, a certain draft profile on a guy. They had one on Victor Oladipo. Really wanted him. Really tried to acquire him on draft night. Couldn't get it done. but down the road, loved everything about his personality and the way he played the game and brought him in. So just saying, like, this is just how Sam Presti works. It's not necessarily indicative of, oh, wow, the Thunder and, Sam Presti and Koulibaly are circling one another kind of thing. Like, I just wouldn't read too much into it.
Yeah, and like this is exactly what you expect from a thorough GM who really wants to see stuff in person. And I mean, he can probably hop on a flight, just stay there for 2 days, and be back for every workout he wants to conduct with other prospects. And like watching firsthand, like a guy who is blossoming into more than just like a simple prospect that plays in the U21 in France, but he's playing real basketball right now, and it's a very important moment to evaluate. It's like the NCAA tournament. It's similar. I mean, do you draft a guy just because he's good there? Probably not. Is it a data point that if you have in your mind, is it better for you? Probably yes. And the discussing stuff with the player, like, or with teammates or with whoever will talk to you that is of any relevance and that knows Koulibaly in person, then that is good time. So it's, again, I would not draw any conclusion. I think that it's surely possible that OKC likes him, and it's also possible, as you mentioned, that they're going there to just making their final evaluation, say, okay, we're not there yet, and we have to be sure that we are not there yet. This is also something that is extremely important, because if you miss on the if you don't like the prospect and you need more info to just say, okay, he's not on the top 12 of my board, then you have to say it with a certain certainty there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I also think for teams, it's important to talk to these guys in person if you have a chance to. And most of these guys do. They talk to them throughout the season, or they'll speak to them at the combine. This is also a chance for the Thunder to, face to face, probably talk to Bilal. And
who knows? I don't know what the access. I mean, in Europe, you can probably, like in Italy, you could probably have a meeting, even with the guy that is currently in the playoffs. I don't know the policy there, but yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that may be true, where they can't talk to him now. But I know
it depends on the contract. It depends on the even how the manager of that I was saying company of that team are actually dealing with the day by day of these guys. So, but for sure, you can at least get to see him in a friendly environment, which is helpful.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally right. Let's okay, so let's go to these draft prospects, and I want you to tell me, are you very in, out, or very out on particular prospects? So obviously Victor Wembanyama, we're both very in. Yes,
Very in.
No, not much discussion there. Scoot Henderson, I'm very in.
I am very in as well. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, we don't have to discuss it.
Brandon Miller as a player, I would say I'm very in.
Yeah.
All the other stuff that I'm not privy to that is going to be so important, like the sit-down conversations between Brandon Miller and like all the background stuff on him, is going to be outrageously important. And so I don't want to touch too much on that. Sam Vecini and I talked about it on his show last week.
Yeah, great show.
If you want to check that out. But yeah, I'll just say I'm in. What about Amin Thompson for the Thunder? Where are you today on him? He's kind of, depending on who you read or listen to or talk to, like he's just kind of all over the map in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I need more info to be very in. I think that in general, if you can draft a guy that is projected as a top 5 guy and you have intel that he's a good worker, I think that you draft him and then you decide how to make it work. I think that Amin Thompson can work in the league. It clearly depends on the shot and also the roster construction. But Ben Simmons was once upon a time an All NBA guy, and then other stuff happened. It's not that Ben Simmons is not a player that can be an All NBA. And if we look at that story from afar, and we just scroll the roster of the Sixers, it's not that they put Ben in the best position to succeed. Like, they didn't have too much shooting. I mean, Joel is not a great shooter. He's a good shooter he's a very good shooter for his position, but he's not the guy that people will actually fly on, stay glued to him outside of the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Same with Tobias. Tobias is a good shooter. I think that you would guard him with a little bit of space. It's not Steph. And then sometimes they were playing Matisse, Tybal. Like, where is the spacing for a guy like that? And so, can Amen Thompson work with the Thunder? Yes. Can he work in tandem with Josh Giddey? I have no idea. Can you play him with Dort and Josh Giddey? Probably not, unless someone becomes a really good shooter. Can he be the third/second/best player of the Thunder in 5 years? Yeah, that's possible. So I would be in. I would love to have the possibility to just sit in the gym for like 2 days and watch him shooting the basketball, to be sure. But I think that with that level of athleticism and talent and IQ and just live dribble abilities, it's hard to say, like, I'm not very in.
Yeah, just talent alone, it's hard to be out on him because I think he can play the way the Thunder want to play, in like a rhythmic style, and so it's hard to be out on him. But it is tough because you ask people about his shooting, and it's just like a tier from the many people that I've gotten a chance to talk to. It just feels like it's a tier below, even like Jarris Walker, Anthony Black, and all those guys. And it just might be a bridge too far, especially if he needs to have the ball in his hands. Like, that's when it's like, okay, are we really doing a service to the Thunder itself by bringing in a guy who really needs to be the man on a team that has an All-NBA guard, a rising third-year guard that's 6'8" and can do so much with the ball and can help you so much, and also it's taken touches away from J-Dub as well. And
look at you talking about non-shooting. I'll use mirror on that when you're discussing Anthony Black.
Yeah, I just wonder if, and we just don't know about OT either. Like, playing for OT is a weird choice.
It definitely is.
It's a weird way to go about it, and I don't like OTE. I hate watching it. I don't know what to do with it a lot of times. And like, would Amen Thompson's representatives be okay with him like coming off the bench somewhere?
No.
I mean, it doesn't feel like they would be okay with that. And maybe Anthony Black's wouldn't either. I just feel like Anthony Black might be a little bit more amenable because the dude just like wants to win. And like may be willing to do that. Where like, and I don't have information that says Amen Thompson would say no. But that might be the best thing for the Thunder though. And like the idea of like having him or Anthony Black coming off the bench where it's like, hey, Josh Giddey's out of the game. Now we have Amen Thompson coming in. It's like, oh, okay, like let's roll.
Yeah.
You know, like there are ways for it to work. Just like I talked myself into Anthony Black, there are ways for this to work with him. But with the shooting just being at just a tier lower, it's just hard for me to be very in. And so I'm going to say I'm in. Let's go to Cam Whitmore. Where are you at on Cam Whitmore?
I don't know.
I'm out on bringing in Cam Whitmore to the Thunder. I'm out on the idea. I just don't think he plays the style of basketball that they want to play.
Can we include like a grade where I'm just basically, I don't know. I'm not in, I'm not out. I'm just whatever.
No,
Okay.
you have to be. This is black or white.
But we included shades of gray, like it's out or very out. Why can I be like just, I don't know, completely uninspired by the idea of Cam Whitmore? I tend to be out as well.
Yeah, I just don't think a guy who doesn't pass and like doesn't have the ability to play in that kind of offense, at least today. I just would be very surprised if he came here. And also, he has like star potential.
Yeah.
And like, are the Thunder wanting to put a star potential player on this team that doesn't pass?
Well, yeah, depending on how late in the clock he gets the ball. It's like MPJ. I told you, I'm not sure on this podcast or another one, probably another one.
Yeah.
To me, it's very similar to just get MPJ.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a passer.
MPJ. The thing about MPJ though versus Cam Whitmore, MPJ is like 6'10".
Yeah, but that's irrelevant for this
It
for this topic.
It is not.
He doesn't play 6'10".
He will rebound, and the length on his
but we are talking offense.
Without the length, he's not the same defender.
Yeah, but we are talking mainly offense.
I'm also talking defense with Cam. Like I'm not a super believer in what he can do.
He can. Yeah, but even MPJ. I mean, in college, you were not betting on his defense.
Oh no, he was terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So and he can be okay here in the league, but it's not that he's guarding some like super gifted. If you have a perimeter player that is tall and gifted, that is not the guy that MPJ will get.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's what KCP gets. No, I get it.
KCP or AG, but not MPJ. So,
yeah, but his you can't deny that his length is like one of the only things working in his favor on defense.
Yes, he's tall, and that is less bad on defense.
Tall is helpful, and also for the shot too, shooting over guys. Although he's clanked every single three he shot in the finals.
Sure, but like when he's good, like when he's productive on offense, he is helpful because he can get buckets.
Yeah.
Even without,
and he's a high level shooter. Where are we positive that Cam Whitmore's going to be a high level shooter?
If he was, I would have been like in. That's why.
I think that's why Brandon Miller's actually a pretty good passer too, which is why I would still be very in on him.
Yeah, but if I don't have mid as an option, then I'm probably more out than in.
Yeah. Well, just say it. Just say you're out.
I'm out. Let's see him turning into Anthony Edwards tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. And here's the thing: is like we're going to be wrong about somebody.
Yeah,
just flat out. We're going to be wrong.
Him.
We're going to be wrong on the guys we're out on. We're going to be wrong about the guys that we're in on. Like that's just the nature of the draft.
Yeah,
and if you
terribly wrong on Grady Dick, by the way, terribly,
we'll
I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
We'll get to him in a minute. Asar Thompson.
I'm kind of in.
Oh, I'm in. I think I'm way in, actually.
That is based on nothing. Like I watched the two shooting the basketball, and yes, there are differences, but it's not that one is truth.
It's based on nothing, but
it's based on basically nothing. One guy is shooting a little bit more, therefore people think that he's better at it. I don't know. I watched them shooting the basketball, and yes, like a man is a little bit more robotic than Asar.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's very different. Like
it's not necessarily based on the shooting itself.
And if it's not the shooting, then it's just, hey, I'm used to be off ball because my brother is better than me.
Yes, he's more of a connective tissue type of player. Like he's definitely more. Like if you were to compare anybody, and this is an unfair comp because the dude is probably going to be a Hall of Famer and has been awesome, but Andre Iguodala, he's probably closer to that than almost anybody in the draft. And like if you could put somebody that's like that on your team that is just going to make plays, be super athletic, play on the wing, he can probably come off the bench, maybe eventually replace Dort in the starting lineup. Like that's
Whoa!
if he progresses in the way that he should, and he's an like people. Some people think he has all-star capabilities. Like you should not hold that guy back. But I'm just saying, like and he'd obviously be a trade-up candidate. Like the guy's not going to last to 12.
Are you sure?
I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm sure. I'm like 80% sure.
Maybe not to 12, but he may be a guy that is there at 8.
Yeah.
9.
8. Yeah. Or even 10. And the Thunder just call and say, all right, Bertans and 10 for 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just absorb it.
I don't know. I don't see how we are like lukewarm on Amen Thompson and very in on Osar Thompson.
I'm still in on I'm in on Amen Thompson.
Okay.
I'm just very in on somebody that like he passes well, he defends. Some think he can shoot better. I'm kind of with you where I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But to me it's both guys.
Yeah. I like both. I do like both of them. Okay. Jarris Walker.
Qualify in general or as a trade up candidate?
In general.
Then I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in as well. The defense stuff is tremendous.
Yeah.
And he would really help the Thunder in a lot of ways. Maybe not immediately, but down the road for sure. I think he would help quite a bit on the defensive end. Offensively, there's still a lot of questions to be answered about his shooting and about his fit, but he can pass, can play some out of the high post. Is he going to be aggressive enough going to the rim? Like I just have a lot of questions about him, but I'm still in.
To me, it's more about like if he's there at 12, then I'm very in.
Oh yeah.
Because he would be value there. I would draft him without blinking twice. Well, depending who's there. But if I have to pay and move up, I would not be as comfortable.
Yeah,
I would pay and move up to grab Scoot, to grab, of course, Wemby, Brandon Miller. With the Thompson brothers, it depends. It really depends on the price. I would not be extremely comfortable in doing that. No Whitmore, absolutely no. Walker, I would not pay too much. If it's Bertans, then yeah, probably so.
Yeah,
but it's already something where, I need to see who's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hendricks.
Yeah, a little bit more into, maybe a slightly more into than Walker. I'm flip flopping between the two. When I watch him shooting off curl and stuff, I said, oh, I like that. And then I see maybe a fumble pass or possessions where he's not able to keep in front when he switched, and he's less of a versatile defender than Walker, but he's surely a more versatile offensive player than Walker. And I have no doubts that he can work, as our friend James Henderson is saying in chat, he's more close to the role that MPJ has with Denver. I think that he can be even a bit more involved in some of the actions than the general MPJ experience. So I would be actually a little bit more in than Walker.
Yeah. Yeah. I also flip-flop on these two. And I don't the defense stuff with Walker is awesome. Hendricks as a shooter, I think that I probably today would rather have Hendricks just because of the shooting.
Yeah.
And he's more ready-made to play on this team today. If we're trying to maximize what the Thunder can do next year, probably give me Taylor Hendricks. If we want to buy into the upside of Jarris Walker, fine. I also just Hendricks is taller.
Yeah,
I like that.
He can play the 5.
Just simply.
Yeah, and like I will phrase it this way: if the team of the future has the abilities of the team right now, which
Yeah.
is something that we don't hope that to be true because we want players to evolve, then Hendricks fits to a T. You can slide him in the starting unit. You can play him off the bench. You can do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Like concord every lineup that you want. Hey, that fits with Hendricks. You have Kenrich, Dort, Giddy, Hendricks, and Chet. Wow, it works. If you put Jarvis Walker there, say, hey, that shooting is a little bit like if you have 4 non-shooters on the court, then that is not
I
great.
know. That's
With
kind of
Hendricks, yeah, you can play whatever lineup. You need rim protection, great. You need like him playing the 4, okay, he can space the court. So I see him as a very versatile fit, and someone that eventually can close games for you if he improves as a one-on-one defender on the perimeter, which is something that Walker already has, I think.
I would just be surprised if he was somebody that they would expend assets to get just because he's not the guy who's making tons of decisions with the ball.
Yeah. My only cons to that is something that I think you discussed with, I don't remember, probably Spins.
Chuck.
Not Chuck, either Spins or someone else.
And Chuck had
About
some wild takes about him.
I really love that podcast, by the way. I think that once upon a time, we were discussing Trey Murphy as he doesn't make too many decisions with the ball. He is just strictly a shooter, but he's tall, nice. And then he comes to the league. He has more space. He starts to generate space with his three ball, and so he has more opportunities to open a live dribble opportunity, and he changes a bit. He is not like a super duper high level decision maker that can touch the ball in every moment of the game and get you something good, but he's a guy that can make decision when he gets a spot up opportunity, or he can make a cut to the basket. And I think that Hendricks can do that as well. So I would actually be a little bit, I would go probably all the way in with Hendricks.
The idea makes a lot of sense. I just can't shake the doesn't make decisions with the basketball thing. And I would just be surprised to see it. And I also would be so happy if he was wearing a Thunder uniform in the fall, because I just think that he can make a big difference. His athleticism would make a difference on the team, the shooting. Yeah. And
again, I can't shake from the top of my head that if you have players that fit together, you can maximize both. Well, both players, if you take 2 or like the entire crew, if they work well together. If you have someone that is like on another tier or another like rhythm, then it messes up everything. Yeah,
it's true. Okay, Anthony Black. I'm way in, all the way in.
I'm not all the way in. I'm in. I'm more in than out, but I'm not all the way there. I think it's super duper risky to have another player that you can't play in normal lineups, that you have to, you have to take players in order for him to fit, which is something that I don't necessarily like. And then it depends on what you want to do with your roster. I don't think that you can easily play Dort, Giddy, and Black together. Not even if you have like Steph and Clay.
I'm a little more optimistic on him than that.
The shooting is bad. Bad.
He's got a ways to go, for sure. He's got a ways to go. I believe in his hyper competitiveness is a part of it.
Russ is hyper competitive. Hyper competitive. And the shooting of Russ was much, much better. Never, ever, ever able to be a really good 3-point shooter.
Russ was also never willing to take a step back, to take a step forward. That's what Josh Giddey is doing right now. And so they have set, what's kind of cool about this team is they have set a precedent for development. And I don't know if Anthony Black would come in and jump right in line. But if he sees that, like, Giddey's a guy that he clearly looks up to. He mentioned him in an interview with Shams. He mentions him on this like YouTube short thing that he did with one of his buddies. Like, he talks about him a lot. And the precedent that's being set in Oklahoma City now is that, hey, I'm willing to work on my jump shot and to tweak it as needed in order to get better. And sometimes it's going to get worse before it gets better. And oftentimes that is the case. And Russ was not willing to do that. And so
No, that is completely fair. But even if Giddey next year shots 38% from three, and I'm saying, wow, wild number. It will be probably 2-3 seasons before he can really space the court.
Yeah.
If he's ever going to be able to.
Yeah.
Because of like quickness, because of a lot of other things. And to have another player that has to do that kind of, because again, if you want to maximize your team, you need to have elite shooters. And J-Dub may be a very good shooter. Chet may be. You have a lot of maybe, and then you have question marks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's very risky and unnecessary. Like, in order to make this team great, I'm not sure that you need Anthony Black. I'm sure that having a decision maker is really important.
Yeah.
It's really, really important. Because again, it's Bruce Brown versus MPJ in the last quarter of Game 4. I mean, it was, hey, we need a guy that when he gets the ball, boom, makes the decision, attacks when he has to attack.
Point guard at Miami,
Yeah.
University
These
of Miami.
Yeah, sure. These guys are important, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to draft Anthony Black? I'm not sure.
I just love him as a player,
no,
just in general. And I understand the fit concerns with the Thunder there's a lot. I'm not going to sit here and say that Anthony Black fits everything they need. He doesn't. He actually creates more problems for you at the beginning than solutions. But I just kind of believe in the ceiling of a player like this, and that could come in and eventually figure it out. The fit with Shea and Giddey wasn't great, the whole time. But when it started to click this past year a little bit, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see it. And like
exactly.
The upside.
And when did it click? That's the point to me.
When they played small.
Yeah. And they had all the space in the world.
No, I get it.
There are
totally
many.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are many good, very good places where I think that Indiana, for example, is awesome for Black.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have Tyrese, you have Mathurin, you need a guy that is a super duper high level connector piece who can just be on ball, be off ball, whatever they need him to be, playing hard defense, just like play with Mathurin so that he doesn't take the ball and dribble all the time. That is awesome for him. Playing with a center that can actually shoot the basketball, that is perfect. I don't have many doubts that Anthony Black would be a very good NBA player. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the path to greatness in OKC is harder than some other places, and maybe unnecessary hard.
I would agree with all of that. I wouldn't deny any of that at all. I'm just a believer in Anthony Black, like through and through, as somebody that's going to succeed in the NBA. And I just want successful NBA players on the Thunder.
Yeah, sure. No, that's great.
It will require a player like Anthony Black coming onto the Thunder. It will require great sacrifice in order to get the best outcome.
And what about J-Dub possessions that you were using it an excuse not to draft Amen Thompson?
It will be, and maybe it's just the fact that I'm more comfortable evaluating the SEC than than whatever they're playing in, with OTE. And it may be the case that if Amen Thompson was playing in the SEC and I got to see him play, like in the tournament, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There were just moments where Anthony Black would just lock guys down. It was like, hey, Grady Dick, you're actually not even in this game anymore.
Yeah, not Jordan Hawkins. Too bad. But yeah, it happened.
That's fine. Okay, on to the next one. Speaking of Grady Dick, what about Grady Dick? Where are you at on him?
I'm between all the way in and in. I just would love for OKC to draft a guy that it's lights out. And I agree with Sam Vecini that if he is 39% from 3, 38, 39% from 3 compared to 42, 45, it's very different. And we saw it with Isaiah Joe firsthand. If you are 45, wow. Like if he's that level of a shooter, like to me, like between 39 and 41, it's more than enough depending on the volume. If he can hoist 7 threes per game at 39%, just sign me up. Yeah. It would be so easy to make that team work. So easy. And it's the same reason why, he's like Portland. I'm messing with everything right now. Denver was so good in the regular season with MPJ hitting 41% of his threes. That is so important. You have an avenue, like a release valve that you can always get to that gives you buckets.
Yeah.
And it would be just very simple. Can he be on the court in every closing situations? No. Can he be in some? I believe so. Can he pass the ball? Yes. He's a great passer? No. Can he be a little bit on closeouts? Yes, he can. He's also very competitive.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if the free-flowing, I actually do know that the free-flowing basketball that OKC sometimes wants to play, like instead of, hey, you need to set the screen there, then run, then come back. No, this is not the way in which OKC wants to play basketball. And to some extent, I didn't see that in Grady Dick game. Say, okay, I'm in transition, I'm doing that. But it's also what I see from a guy that is, again, starting for a team that is in the finals.
Yeah.
With MPJ, it's clear. Now I'm driving. Now I'm screening. Now I'm doing this. And it's very predictable.
Yeah.
But he's 6'10", 6'11", and he can shoot everything that he touches. Dick is very similar in that.
Mm-hmm. Shorter, and I like him too. I'm in. I wouldn't say I'm all the way in. Just because it's similar to Taylor Hendricks. Like, you can just see the fit. You can ask any team in the league, could you use a 6'7" shooter? I think every team would be like, yep.
Is he 6'7" or 6'8"? Come on, 6'8".
Is he 6'8"?
Yeah.
Is that what you measured at in the combine?
In shoes, yes.
Okay. 6'8".
I think so.
I mean, are you comfortable with him being a shooter off the bench? Drafting a guy who's going to come off the bench and like probably in year one doesn't close many games. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Does he want to start? Great. Just play better defense than anyone that is starting and or be better than Giddy, which is not the case. So
yeah, I like him. I would be surprised if the Thunder took him, but if they did take him, I think it means that they're confident that he's going to be like just a sick, like 45% shooter. And if he's that, then it can look at Duncan Robinson. Like, Duncan Robinson is not anything. He's not supposed to be there. He wasn't playing in the regular season at all, but he closes games for the Heat in the playoffs, in the finals.
And that is that is why I'm not all the way in. It's because of guys like Duncan Robinson that if you pay a protected 2025 OKC pick that is a top 20 protected, and if it doesn't convey, it's a 2 second rounders, you can probably get Duncan Robinson. And he's surely a 40% shooter. And he's 6'6" or whatever. And this is why my only cons is, do you need to draft him at 12?
Yeah.
And the answer is probably not. How much Marcus Sasser is worse for OKC than Grady Dick in terms of plug and play shooter? And I'm exaggerating things.
I mean,
of course.
Sasser is a lot shorter.
Of course. Of
Like
course.
a lot.
Yeah.
And
What
yes,
is 6'4"?
he can shoot. I mean, I don't know what he measured at the combine, but not that tall, I don't think.
No, it's not. It's not 6'8" for sure. I have 6'4" in my mind.
Sasser's not. I don't think he's 6'4".
Yeah, then it's. But again, like shooters, you can find shooters that are between 6'4" and 6'6".
Yeah. They have one
Is
already.
is 2 inches like worthy of a top 10 pick?
Maybe.
But you need to be better than just. If he's just taller as Isaiah Joe, then it's a no for me. It's not being all the way in. If it comes to you and you don't like anybody else,
6'2" for Sasser.
yeah, then it's small. Just sorry.
Yeah,
it's not. I was thinking about he's probably.
that's the thing is like there's just not a lot of like great shooting in here outside of he and Hawkins.
Yeah,
and Hendricks.
Yeah.
Hendricks.
But Hendricks, I don't think that Hendricks is the same level shooter than Hawkins and Dick.
He also doesn't have to be because he brings other things.
Yeah.
Where like if Hawkins and Grady Dick are not elite shooters, then like what are they?
Yeah.
Like
but they will be. They will be elite shooters. I don't have many doubts on them being shooters.
Hawkins, I don't necessarily have doubts on.
You have doubts on Grady Dick?
I think Grady, I mean, if he's a 38% three-point shooter for his career, are you surprised?
No, but that's good enough, depending on the volume.
It's not great.
But come on, 38% on 7 attempts. That is quite a lot.
It's a good shooter. I just think if you're drafting this guy in the lottery, you need him to be a great shooter.
Yeah, possibly. Plus. It depends on how people will guard him more than the actual result. I don't buy that. I don't buy that theory. If you know that if you leave Dick wide open, he is a 50% shooter and he will take 10 threes, you will guard him.
But guys guard 38% three-point shooters versus 45% three-point shooters differently.
Same way, depending on the volume.
I don't know.
Like Clay is not a 45% shooter. I don't know what is for his career, but he had like a lot of season 37, 38, 39. It's about being a machine if he starts to hit.
You think Dick will be that guy?
No, I'm not saying that he will be that guy. I'm saying that it's not like between 38 and 42. It's about can he take 10 threes?
41.6% three-point shooter for his career.
Clay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost 4 percentage points difference.
Yeah.
I mean, Clay's had before he got hurt, 17-18, he was 44%.
Yeah.
He's 44% in 15. I mean, yeah. He shot below 40% one time.
Yeah, I thought they did like a couple. But yeah. I don't know. I do think that you guard guys that are volume shooters above 37% in a relevant way.
I don't know. I kind of think you do.
Would you suck off of a guy that is shooting 38%? Really? 1.20, like it's one.
If I'm trying to stop Shai
Gilgeous-Alexander
from getting to the rim, maybe.
But it's 1.14 points per possessions. Like that is elite offense. It's not good, it's elite. Like it's not very different than shooting 50. It's actually the same as shooting like 57% at the rim, which is, yeah. Okay. I'll guard Shai. Perfect. It will be wide open.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like, yeah, of course. 40% is better. It's 1.2, which is like top
I'm
of the
talking
league.
45. I'm not saying 40. I'm not saying 40 is my threshold. I'm saying like, give me like somebody who's like gonna be, when the ball hits his hands, he's nearly automatic. If Grady Dick, what I'm saying is, if the Thunder believe that that's what Grady Dick can be, that he can be like 42 to 43 to 45% from 3, like in his prime, and he's taking 8 threes per game, Like, sign me up. Get me there.
Yeah.
But it's
I think
7.
there is a chance for
If
him
it's
to
7
be.
percentage points worse, I'm not totally sure. That's all.
Okay.
That's
Just okay. Okay.
That's all.
I just think that generating between 1.15 and 1.20 points per possession on offense on threes, it's
Yeah.
elite in the league.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I just don't know that
It's elite. It's not great. It's elite. It
think
means
you
it's
can-
awesome.
I think you can find guys though, and the Thunder have proven that.
Not 6'8" guys.
Not 6'8" guys. That's true. But maybe you could. I mean, is Duncan Robinson going to be somebody that you can't trade for?
Yeah, that's the point.
Is
that is the main point.
like you could go
Of
get.
me- of not, I'm not all the way in.
Yeah.
I'm in because
You could
of that.
probably get you could probably get Duncan. You can go get Bertans. Like you want to get Bertans, so he's probably shoot 38% for you.
Come on, but this is uninspiring.
I'm just saying, like
Completely.
he'll probably shoot 38% from 3 for the Thunder next year.
Yeah, but it's not in the same way. You know that you cannot play Bertans. I think that Grady gets not enough love for the fact that he actually competes on defense.
Yeah, I'm not sold.
Okay.
Okay, let's fire through these. We got kind of stuck there.
It's your fault, not mine. Oh, it's actually my fault. Okay, I admit that.
No, it's not. It's my fault. It's just really funny. Okay, Case and Wallace. I'm actually like way in on Case and Wallace. I just like the all around ability of him. I believe in the shot. I don't love that he's only like 6'4", but as like a guard off the bench who's got some upside defensive ability, like knows like is going to play hard. Like I like that guy. If he's at 12, like yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, it's actually the same for me. Like we don't talk much about him, but he would be a process that, oh, okay.
It'd be
He fits
great.
right away. He gives me some aside. If tomorrow Lou Dort wants 35 millions, I can probably have an answer for him that is no, because I have Kazun that does like similar things, not exactly the same.
And he's better offensively, at least projects to be better offensively than Dort.
Yeah, and yeah, you said that. He said that. Okay, I did not, but he did. And he is probably a guy that like Shea sits one night. Okay, probably play good enough offense.
Yeah. No, I like him. Okay, Hawkins. I'm in. I'm not all the way in, but I'm in.
I just love the movement shooter.
Yeah.
I am afraid of for Hawkins. I am very afraid of the finishing. He was terrible.
Yeah.
That is the thing that worries me the most.
Yeah. Also the size, the defense. It's based.
I'm less scared about that. I'm more scared about that inability to finish.
Yeah. Also, he's like, tell me how much different is he going to be than Isaiah Joe?
Oh, he moves way better than Isaiah Joe.
How much more of an impact will that make? Is it worth a lottery pick?
If the like when doesn't shoot what he is kind of thing is what we saw, no.
Yeah.
He's not worth it.
Yeah.
But it's not about the defense. It's about more like, hey, if you can't get a shot off because the defender that is in front of you is better than what you had since like the college days, then I'm afraid that he just can't do anything.
Yeah.
Not even pass.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not something that I'm afraid of with Grady Dick, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keontae George.
Yeah, I'm out.
I think I'm out as well.
I don't like the size. I don't like the profile of a gunner that OKC doesn't necessarily need.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much he brings in other things that OKC may need.
Yeah. Nick Smith.
I would love for him to return to college.
Yeah. I just don't feel like I know enough about
and draft him next year.
There's some people that really like him. There's some people that don't understand it. I'm just like, I don't know. The stuff we saw at Arkansas was not tremendous. And Vecini says that he's like one of the worst defenders he's ever evaluated. So I'm just like, okay, don't sign me up for that.
That's a title that he shares with Griffin.
Yeah.
That is also what he said about AJ. So being worse than AJ is actually not great.
Yeah. Kobe Buffkin. Obviously weigh in on Kobe.
I'm all in.
6'5", works out with Shea, can shoot, can pass, can dribble, will defend. It's kind of like why there's no reason to not be in on him, in my opinion. There's just a lot to like. We've talked about him a lot. And this is somebody that we agree on, so we don't really even have to talk that much about him. Do you have anything? Okay. Hood Scafino. I've been out and
all the way out.
He's rising right now. Like he's rising. ESPN put out their like best available players today. And I threw up in my mouth a little bit when I saw where he was. He's at 12.
Okay. The shot making is something for Hood Scafino.
Kobe Buffkin's at 18.
I don't understand that.
Bilal Koulibaly is at 11.
Yeah, that I get more because of the hype. But
I don't know what's going on with Hood Scafino.
Like, I don't know.
It's a weird one to me. That's just like straight up a weird one. I need to go watch him again. I remember our first evaluation of him was like, ugh.
No, I don't. I actually spent a lot of time on Hood Scafino because I saw him there and said, why? I really need to get to everything I can because I need to understand. And the shot making can be incredible.
Yeah.
Do you know who had like a very good shot making profile and he was taller and better defense? Johnny Davis.
Yeah.
And I think that he's a worse prospect than Johnny Davis. If the shot making translates, great. I'm not the guy who's going to bet on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I'm out on him as well. Okay. Bryce Sensaba.
I think that I have these two guys basically as one, Hood Scafino and Sensaba. Probably Sensaba was a little bit better in my mind, but
better scorer, but like kind of a black hole.
Yeah, him, Jet Howard, guys like that. I'm
defense. I'm kind of out on. Okay, Leonard Miller. I'm in on. I like the potential versatility at the 4/3 position. I like the length, the rebounding. I love. If he shoots, then he's the steal of the draft. If he doesn't shoot, then he's just kind of like an energy big. Like I don't know.
Define if he shoots. What do you have in mind?
Just enough to bend the defense and for people to care.
Like, give me an example of a player that has that kind of profile and
Jeremy Grant.
Okay. That's not a low bar.
No, it's not a low bar. It's a high bar.
I would actually let Jeremy shoot the basketball if I have to guard someone else.
Yeah.
Even today. So it doesn't really bend.
Yeah.
I would play like, if I'm guarding like a guy like Curry, I'm probably shadowing him, making contact at any point of his offensive possession. If I'm guarding J-Dub, well, the J-Dub is not a good example. If I'm guarding Isaiah Joe, I'm playing 3 feet from him, where I'm there, I'm not helping, but I'm actually like edging my defense a bit. With Leonard Miller, I would be 6 feet away.
Yeah. Certainly to start with.
Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant shot from 3 this year.
I know that the percentage is very good.
It's very good. 40%.
Yeah. How many attempts?
6.
That's good.
It's good.
Would you defend him in a different way, like Clay?
Would I defend him like Clay? No, you're just like illustrating my point from earlier. That I'm fine with like a guy who I...
But it's not because of the 40. It's because of the type of the shots. Those are mostly catch and shoot attempts off of other guys. and
Yeah.
not like he will never take 14. With Clay, he can take 14. It's more about, I definitely think it's more about the attempts and the type of attempts. But yeah. If he shots like that, then I would definitely.
Jeremy Grant
take him
took 11 against the Clippers.
Okay. Okay. If he's Jeremy Grant from 3, great.
I think that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
I would take him at 12.
I would too. It's a great outcome for him.
Yeah.
That's an awesome outcome for him.
Bigger, stronger Jeremy Grant is actually a great player.
Oh, yeah. It's an awesome player. Derek Lively, the second.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in on like the theoretical, which kind of scares me. Not weigh in. Probably. No. I'm closer to out than I am to weigh in. Just because I just don't know if I buy the shooting as like a real thing.
Me neither. I have no idea. I shot like
I don't know why
15 times.
Yeah. Chris Murray.
Oh, no. No. Please, no.
I'm kind of out. Jet Howard.
No, out.
Out. GG
well,
Jackson.
It depends. It depends. Where? At 12? No.
If they trade back and get both the Nets picks, if they trade 12 for 21 and 22.
That would be gross. I think that if you, this is something that OKC will never do, because they are clearly not taking 2 players this year, or at least not clearly. But
yeah,
I would, if he's there at 29, and you can somehow get like a pick between 25 and 35, and say, okay, you will not play, but if you show me that you can guard like a chair, then I may give you a chance.
Yeah.
I think that he will take time. I'm not sure he's a bad player.
Yeah, he will take time for sure. We'll do a few more and then we'll go. GG Jackson out. Rayon Rupert. I'm in, but closer to out than very in.
You are in? Like as if they draft him, you'll be happy?
Yeah, I like the tools that he has. I like the tenacity. I like the size on the wing.
Okay.
If he works out, like it's awesome. But there's also like he's got a wide variance on what happens with his career. Certainly. He's risky. He's very risky. Same with Bilal Koulibaly. Like he's risky. It's a risky proposition. I'd say I'm about the same. I'm in. I'm not very in, but I'm in. And also a little confused because he doesn't make decisions either. But
I do think that with Rupert, it's a byproduct of the team he was playing for.
Yeah,
I said it many times. If you look at how they play, it's a mess.
Yeah. It is. Okay, the Thunder don't have the 37th pick anymore, which we can talk about real quick because they traded it to the Nuggets for that pick, the worst of their first rounders next year, and then another second. So for the 2029 pick, which we don't know the protections on, I assume these are like very favorable to Oklahoma City. We don't have any information on that yet. But my assumption is they're extremely favorable for OKC. And this is a good trade for both teams, in which I don't like who won the trade. I don't know. We won't know for a long time who actually won the trade. But it's really good for Denver because they get cost controlled players faster. Yeah. And it's good for the Thunder in that, like, how many 2029 picks have even been dealt? Like those picks are actually not easy to acquire today from anybody. And I like the strategy of the Thunder. The Thunder did the exact same thing with Houston. They did the exact same thing with the Clippers, is that they picked teams that were going to be at the tip top and said, give us your picks, but as far away as possible. And that gives you the variance of like, what's going to happen. Now, right now, you're thinking like, wow, we just traded all this stuff for the 30th pick in the draft. Like, this team's about to win the title. And 2029 is a long way away. You don't know what you're going to get with that pick.
Yeah, think about the Warriors when they took KD.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it lasted 3 years.
Yeah, you just
And
don't
then
know.
they had 2 horrible years. Imagine if in 2016 you trade with Golden State for a 2021 top 5 protected pick.
Yeah. And you get the 8th pick.
And you have the possibility
Well, no,
to draft.
that 8th pick was Minnesota's pick.
Yeah, that pick.
Yeah.
And you draft Franz Wagner.
Yeah. You just don't know. It's a great deal for both teams. It's a great deal for the Thunder in that, one, they move assets now that they don't really need for one in the future, which becomes very valuable because in that year they'll have their own pick and that Denver pick now. And being able to take 2 first-rounders at the trade deadline or before the season and to trade those, you can get something real in a trade. And then also, maybe they're at the point where they're doing really well and they don't really need anything. But you can draft somebody.
Yeah.
And have a cheap contract. Let's say that they're in negotiations with somebody, with one of their role players, and they've got to let them go because it's going to be too expensive because they're in that second apron. Well, now you can just bring in somebody, and if they can play like Christian Brown for the Nuggets, awesome. And that you don't even need a premium pick to get those kind of guys.
No, that's the point.
It's extremely valuable. Acquiring a 29 pick just doesn't really happen right now. And so it's great. It's great for the Thunder, and that the Thunder right now are not only thinking about themselves today, but they're thinking about the team and the roster. I mean, who knows who's even going to, like, is Mark Daigneault still coaching the team in 29? Are they rebuilding in 29? Like, we have no clue what is going to happen then. But all it does is set the Thunder up for the future so well. I do think it's more of an investment in this group than it is anything else, but it just gives you so much flexibility. It's just looking out for the health, the overall health of the organization is to push that and to get a pick that could be extremely valuable then. So like that's what it's for. It's a great deal. And it's a great deal for Denver because Denver gets something that they need desperately. They could pick. There are guys that are going to be good. And also this, getting into the second round is not going to be that hard if the Thunder if they just on draft night, they're like, oh my gosh, we love Kobe Brown, or we think Amari Bailey is somebody that we need to go get, or Andre Jackson Jr. is somebody that we need. Getting a second round pick is not that hard. So I think that if they just had to get into the second round to get somebody, they could do it. And they have the 50th pick as well. So like they can get into that part of the second round if they really need to. But this is way more about this is not about necessarily about roster spots. This is more about the future of the Thunder really mattering to the people that are in the building now. And it's actually pretty cool. So, all right, Michele, that's a lot. That's a lot for.
But I need 30 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you guard Damian Lillard, shadowing him or leaving him 3 feet away?
A pull-up shooter is so different.
Come on, we didn't discuss that though.
Pull-up shooter is so different.
No, I was looking into 3 points per minute, and if you look at players who have more than, like, if you scroll through the first, you don't find Jeremy Grant in the top 25, top 30.
Yeah.
He's taking 0.16 threes per minute.
Who's the best pull-up shooter in this draft? Like, who's the best pull-up three-point shooter in this draft?
That's a good question. Like Grady and Hawkins are not great pull-up shooters. They can do that. It's probably Miller.
I guess.
I mean, he can pull up. But like Dame is not a 40% shooter. Dame is just a volume shooter.
He's volume and he's pull-up though. Like I think pull-up shooters it just matters on a different level.
Sure. But like take Steph. He's taking 0.33 threes per minute. like Clay is at 0.32. This is what I mean by volume is way more important. Like Malik Beasley is shooting 36%. Would you leave Malik Beasley alone?
The teams did, and also the Lakers did too. Alone on the bench, on his butt.
that is a totally different point of view. You know who's fifth, sorry, in 3-pointers attempt per minute.
I don't.
It's Lindy Waters.
Oh, let's go.
Top 10 there is Isaiah Joe. 0.28.
I like Lindy. Man, I hope Lindy works out. I hope Lindy is our Duncan Robinson next year.
Lindy is below that threshold, though.
I know he is.
Lindy is 35.8%. That is not good enough.
Nobody cares about Lindy Waters.
Same as Bones. Like if Bones is at 40% shooter, 38, 39, he's a great player. At 36, not so much.
Yeah. Let it fly. Let it fly, Bones.
Yeah.
It's tough. The 3-point percentages and like volume and everything, you have to like kind of adjust your brain. Yeah. Because the league is changing so fast.
Yeah. So I would be perfectly fine if Grady takes 0.3 threes per minute and shoot and is like 38, 39%. I think it would be more than okay.
That's a great way to end the podcast. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Appreciate you guys listening. Again, go check out the Thunder's video. I have no reason to promote this other than the fact that I thought it was awesome. So please go check that out. We are going to have a draft party, by the way. It will be, I'm going to put out more details later. But it will be at Fassler Hall, night of the draft on the 22nd of June. We will be there. We are going to have special made glasses for this event that will have the Down to Dunk logo and Lively Beer Works logo on it too. So Lively is going to help us out with this event again. So would love to have you guys out to support these local businesses. Honestly, it's just a great way to support local businesses and to get together and support the podcast and just hang out. So be there, Fassler Hall. You don't want to, trust me, on draft night when the Thunder make a big trade to get number 8 because they're trying to get Grady Dick on the Thunder because they think he can shoot 38% on 7 attempts per game, that you want to be there with people that understand it. You don't want to be sitting there with your significant other and your kids and like trying to explain to them how cool this is. And they're like, all right, honey. And they're just like, whatever, patting you on the back and you're all excited. You want to be there so you can holler with all your friends and make new friends. I know people that have made friends at these events, and it is so cool to be able to just bring people together. It's a free event, and it's on the night of the draft, June 22nd. It's a Thursday night. So just make plans. If you live in Tulsa, make plans. Be there. If you live anywhere else, make plans. Be there. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday.